know what I saw recently? This.
What, are you gonna cry now? Come on, cry, baby, cry for me. Come on, cry.
Artists only deserve praise. Stop hurting my feelings.
Well, now it's time to hurt some feelings and make some namby-pamby artists cry. Now, if y'all could be so prissy as to fill this up with your tears, I would be most grateful. Thank you. Tastes like whiny bitches. I love these people, man. Bro, have you considered that maybe some of these filmmakers agree that their movies are shit? Didn't both Sandra Bullock and Halle Berry collect their Razzie Awards that one time?
No, but this is really wonderful for the most important reason, because they said no one went to go see this film, but I know that there's over 700 members here. And if I won, that means the majority of the 700 had to have voted, so that means 352.
Self-awareness equals class, y'all. But I'm here for a reason, and I'm here to commit to it. These are my bottom 10 films of 2023. Before we hit the list, here is my one and only dishonorable mention. Worst animated film.
There is but one small service you have yet to render the war world.
Justice League Warworld, the lowest of WAG's animation output. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are trapped in loony realities with no memory of who they are, and it has nothing to do with Warworld until the very end. It makes no sense. Even when it comes together, it doesn't work because it's too little too late. Thank God for Lobo, or else this would have made my bottom 10. Number 10. You People.
What do you mean, you people?
Hey, don't be a dick to Jews and black people. Hey, don't be a dick to Jews and black people. Hey, don't be a dick to Jews and black... Yeah, repeat that ad nauseum for 2 hours, and that was basically my viewing experience. This isn't a movie. It's a 90-minute lecture on racism is bad. Oh sure, it's trying to be a cutesy rom-com about Jonah Hill and Lauren London finding love, and trying to appease the other's parents to no avail, but when you get to brass tacks, it's a tired conversation that people are through with. Similar to Barbie, this movie points out problems that the common person already knows is a problem, but offers next to no solution to the problem, which is sad because Monty Python summed it up 40 years ago.
But try and be nice to people, avoid eating fat, read a good book every now and then, get some walking in, and try and live together in peace and harmony with people of all creeds and nations.
I'm sorry, but if you don't say it better or simpler, then you're not worth hearing. And what happens in this anyway? Jonah Hill's parents try to compare Jewish history with black history, which offends Lauren London's parents, which is ironic because he knows his parents are being dumb and desperately tries to get them to shut up. But when he's alone with her parents, he keeps saying stupid shit. It's like, which character are you, dude? The socially awkward dork or the more worldly intelligent character? This game of personality pong ain't working. The only reason this is a 2 out of 5 as opposed to a 1 is because Hill and London are good actors. And Hill definitely got a chuckle out of me once in a while. Beyond that, I'm exhausted. Say something clever or shut up. And the reason why it's so low on my list is because it's bad enough to be recognized, but not bad enough to be that mad at. You people need to make a better movie. Shit, boy, wrecked. Let's face it, it's more clever than anything else in this movie. Tell me I'm wrong.
The 1.5% of the population that you make up seems to be doing pretty good right now.
Number 9. Barbie. Oh yeah, plenty of people already clicking out of here, and some, their cursor at the ready. I mean, you might as well just clickety on out of here because it ain't gonna get any easier to digest. Yeah, I really hated this movie. Similar to You People, this is not a Barbie movie. This is feminist propaganda that just so happens to have a Barbie packaging. It's a clever deception, make no mistake. It's bright, colorful, and bubbly for the kids, and has issues that women face. The problem is, it's not clever for pointing out these issues. It has no answer to these problems. The world that it creates makes no sense. Not just Barbie Land, but the real world as well. As if men blatantly ogle attractive women with no subtlety while she's with her attractive and toned boyfriend right next to her. Let alone the brazen butt slap that happens right after. Are you sure this is the real world, or is this yet another fantasy universe? Whatever message it's trying to get across falls flat on its face. So if I hate it so much, why do I give it a 2 out of 5 instead of a 1? Because it has a few things going for it. Margot Robbie is perfectly cast as Barbie. While I love her as Harley Quinn, other actors that have played her character have done just as good a job, and technically furthered her popularity that even Margot hasn't. Hell, even when Tara Strong cosplays as Harley, she's awesome! But frankly, any number of actresses can play her. I think Lady Gaga is an interesting choice, and after seeing Infinity Pool, more on that later on this list, I think Mia Goth would be an excellent Harley too. But Barbie, that's a glass slipper that only Margot can truly fit in. She captures some of the physical mannerisms of the doll perfectly, like how they fall over and the legs spread out. Hey, head out of the gutter. And she wears those outfits like it's no one's business. And Ryan Gosling is funny. Sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. Without these elements, this would be a 1 out of 5, and much lower on the list. And the reason why it's number 9 is because, unlike You People, this is worth getting upset about. Mostly because I just know that there's gonna be a fallout of like Polly Pocket movies next, or whatever it's gonna be. Just you watch. And the moment that all of you start coming around to us and saying, oh god, it's not as good as Barbie, they're all gonna be the same quality. And by that point, you're gonna be begging for the next Avengers movie.
Hi, Barbie.
Oh, hi, Alan. There are no multiples of Alan. He's just Alan.
Yeah, I'm confused about that.
Number 8. Killer Book Club. You chuckleheads don't know the first thing about horror and how pedestrian it really is. That's literally how it opens. What a way to start, having the same opinion that a dumbass 13-year-old would have. Here's a brain teaser for this movie. If you've figured it out, then how come your movie is wholly unoriginal? Let's dissect that, shall we? We have a killer clown gimmick, done to death. The masked killer gets his mask on the cheap from the campus store. Happy Death Day. The first death is an accident caused by the main group, and they swear to each other that they will keep quiet about it, with the final girl being hesitant to make that pledge, but does so under pressure. I Know What You Did Last Summer. The entire movie is about a group of kids acting like they understand the inner machinations of the killer in a quasi-meta kind of way. Scream. And what does it do with this mishmash of borrowed ideas?
Not a damn thing.
The characters are no smarter than any other subpar outing in the slasher genre. In fact, some are overtly more stupid. At best, characters are bland and forgettable. At worst, unlikable. The violence is nothing special, with some happening off screen, or ones that are depicted on screen are later revealed to have never happened at all. A couple of gruesome deaths are fun, but they're the exception, not the rule. So why is this at number 8? Any other day, I wouldn't even bother putting this on a bottom list, as it's too bog standard to be acknowledged. And compared to the likes of Barbie and You People, it's not nearly as infuriating. But the complication with those two flicks are that they do have at least one redeeming quality that keeps their heads in the shallow end of the shit pool. This has no redeeming values and is only worth acknowledging because of its pretentious early writing and thoroughly boring execution. If this was just a run-of-the-mill slasher, then whatever. But it turns its nose up to slashers and the horror genre in general. No, it deserves its spot here. Number 7. Bottoms. Rachel Sennett had such a great start when I first saw her in Shiva Baby. But ever since then, she just hasn't captured the same magic by giving both a good performance and being in a good movie. The premise kind of sounds like it has promise. A group of girls in high school start a fight club to defend themselves against the school football bully. But that's not really what they're doing. It's a glorified attempt to hook up with the hot girls. If that wasn't bad enough, the story is a liar reveal type with the two main characters lying that they've been in juvie because they murdered someone, which wasn't true. For one thing, everyone that enters their fight club believes it, which, really? Murder? And then go to juvie? That's a legit prison sentence right there. And they keep that lie up until the bad guys of the story reveal that lie to everyone, resulting in the ever-cliched end of second act breakup, with them getting back together in the third after several minutes of moping and doping around. Unlikable protagonists, a predictable story, and a wildly over-the-top ending that will either make or break the movie for viewers. If you couldn't tell, it broke it for me. So why is this worse than Killer Book Club? Well, that's not a hard hurdle, but it's more because of how it panders to the gay community, and even kind of villainizes them, making them seem manipulative, unintelligent, and violent. Sure, it's all in the name of laughs, but that would imply that there were laughs. That the script was clever enough to conjure so much as a chuckle, which it did not. I'm clearly not the demographic because it's mostly received positive feedback. Good for those people who like it, but I couldn't stand it.
What? Okay. I guess we did it.
Number 6. The Nun 2. You know, I almost feel bad for Bonnie Adams and the character of Valak in general. Ever since its inception in The Conjuring 2, it's a magnificent idea that definitely deserves to be a horror icon. But thanks to these solo outings, it almost doesn't deserve to be anymore. The Nun wasn't a good movie. Sure, a sequel would leave room for improvement, but when it's significantly worse, it's time to call it quits, y'all. The funny thing is, the pieces of a more compelling film are there. Valak is looking for a MacGuffin that will give it more power. Cool, so it's actually looking for something instead of just causing mayhem. It has a goal. That's interesting. The problem arises when you realize that it's not clear why it's taking so long to get its thing. You don't know what obstacles are in its way and why that impedes its progress. If anything, it seems like it knows where it is but decides to spook people out instead. Okay then, dumbass demon. But the depths of this flick's stupidity doesn't end there. They bring back Taissa Farmiga, but she's barely in the movie and barely does anything. Literally, her screen time is dedicated to finding Valak. I'm sorry, but one would think if we're bringing back the old protagonist and antagonist from the previous flick, audiences would get a heated rivalry, but there isn't one. Farmiga could have been cut out of the flick and I don't think anyone would miss a thing. So, a hero that spends zero time fighting the villain until the climax, and a villain that doesn't actively seek what it wants until the very end. What are we doing here? So why at the number 6 spot? Frankly, I had no expectations that this would be good. Anyone could have guessed it wouldn't be. The spin-off Conjuring films generally aren't, minus Annabelle Creation. It's bad, but not bad enough to be that low. But from the sheer incompetence of the writing, it's close enough. Whereas Bottoms may only appeal to certain people, I can't imagine this appealing to anyone. Far from the worst horror film that I've ever seen, but it's certainly a strong contender for the worst in the Conjuring universe. I might have to revisit Annabelle or the long-forgotten Curse of La Llorona for confirmation. Bonnie Adams and Valak absolutely deserve better. Dear God, the bottom 5. Well, I know what has to be done, and I definitely have the strength to do it. Special guest appearance. Yep, I'm definitely gonna need this. Let's start me off with a little bit of luck. Bottom 5. Let's hit it. Number 5. Shortcomings. Here we go. This was painful to sit through because it has one of the most insufferable characters that I have ever had to follow in any movie that I've ever watched. Admittedly, it starts off relatively strong. It starts off with Ben attending a movie premiere with his actress girlfriend, Miko. He saw it as a pandery, dull flick, while she thought it was avant-garde for the Asian community. Here I am thinking that this is a commentary on pushing the message of diversity in art and how modern films are being lazy about it. But then it goes right down the shitter when the true face of this thing is revealed. Ben is a deeply confrontational person who doesn't have a single supportive bone in his body. He needs to be right about anything and everything, even if it means pissing off his girlfriend. He is so pretentious. Oh, make no mistake, I'm no fan of Miko either. She looks through his computer at his adult content, consisting of mostly white women, and thinks that he prefers them over her. You know what? A woman that violates privacy like that, any woman would be more attractive. When the plot kicks off and she goes away for a big job opportunity and he stays behind, all we see for a duration of the flick is him trying to cheat on Miko, with the new girl at his job, who is white, and who is overtly ogled by the only 2 other male staff. Great cast of characters we have here. Don't point out that Scott Sace of his viral Angry Retail Guy sketches is in this. I don't care. Oh, and said new girl, she takes artistic photographs of her urine of varying colors. But it's artistic! Then a new girl shows up. She's likable, she's great. And when she wants to get back together with a girlfriend she used to date and breaks things off with Ben, he gets all pissy about it, even though the two weren't strictly speaking dating. Our hero, everyone! Even when he finally reunites with Miko at the end, it turns out even she was trying to cheat on him. Not that I care about either character. I'm not even gonna ask the question, why is this number 5? Because the main character sucks! Compared to my next entry, this is definitely the most insufferable character that I've had to sit through the entire year. It would be much higher on my list had it not been for the fact that it is kind of a standalone movie, not part of a bigger franchise, and it's kind of an indie film, so it's easy enough to avoid. Kind of just gave away what my next entry is, didn't I? Well, give me 1 second, but yeah, I didn't like this one.
That's what you always do. You act like an asshole and then you get angry when I call you on it.
I'm angry because you always assume the worst about me and then you end up acting crazy over nothing.
Number 4. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Tell me you're shocked. Never in my life did I think I was gonna live to see the day where I would owe Kingdom of the Piece of Crap. No. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull an apology. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Shia LaBeouf swinging with CGI monkeys is not the worst. Aliens and sci-fi is not the worst. Perhaps I treated you too harshly. But I mean, nuked fridges are still stupid. You're not getting a free pass. You're still a bad movie. What's so sad is that the first 20 some odd minutes are actually pretty fun. It's a de-aged Ford punching Nazis in the face. Sweet. The de-aging tech is probably one of the best I've seen. Ain't always perfect, but it works and captures the tone and spirit of the original films. So, why is it nestled so comfortably into the number 4 spot? Because of the rest of the bloody thing! Yet another legacy character that the House of Rat has to poison with being a broken, miserable old man that needs a thoroughly unlikable British perfect Priscilla to come around and show him up. If that sounds like The Last Jedi to you, well then you're smart. What is this movie but Indy being a hollow shell of his former self? No thirst for adventure, no gears in his head firing on all cylinders, it's all Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I don't care what her name is in the movie, all she does is boast how strong and capable she is, going so far as to literally say it. The true tragedy is that Harrison is trying to make this work. He knows what the script is asking from him, and he's giving it. But all I can think about is that famous line he said to Mark Hamill when they filmed the first Star Wars.
Hey, kid. It ain't that kind of movie.
Yeah, Harrison, you're right. It's not that kind of movie. Disney is literally trying to kill your legacy. They're literally trying to leech off what you, George, and Steven created, because there's not a shred of creativity and originality under the regime of the Rats Empire. Don't give 110% because they're not even giving you 1%. Never mind all that. The action scenes are bland and forgettable, some dragging on for way too long. The discount short round character and his unibrow are basically magic, as he can magically fly airplanes despite never having flown one before. Mads Mikkelsen is horrendously underutilized as the villain. Again, Mads, you're so much better than this material you've been given, dude. It's an utterly forgettable affair, and that this is how the Indiana Jones franchise dies. Say what you want about Crystal Skull. It was at the very least an authentic Indiana Jones movie. Did it work? About as well as Temple of Doom. Maybe a little worse for wear. But it was written by Lucas. It was directed by Spielberg. It's not Indiana Jones without them. Fuck this. I need another one for the one true Indy. I got another one. It's cool. A man must always be prepared for the worst. The only reason this isn't lower on the list is because, of course, it's this bad. It's a legacy film made by God Emperor Disney. Me expecting better is my own damn fault. But that doesn't take away the pain that the fan base must be feeling right now. It is a pale imitator of the original and a hollow shell of what it used to be. Anybody who greenlit this project, y'all can suck a horse's...
This is not an adventure, Sala. Those days have come and gone.
Number 3. Infinity Pool. I actually took a shot already. I just forgot to hit the record button. Where this stuff works fast. Oh yeah, now the hoity-toity smarties can get mad at me, not just the mainstream ones. No, I have no idea what this movie was. I'm all here for cerebral, challenging films, but there is a fine line between movies that make you think versus movies that just think too much of themselves. I am literally lost on this whole thing. Alexander Skarsgård is a writer. He has writer's block. He and his wife are on vacation. They meet Mia Goth and her husband. They go to a secluded beach and Mia randomly jerks Alexander off. They all go home and run over an innocent bystander, a la I Know What You Did Last Summer, and swear to each other to keep it quiet. Whole lot of good it does, since the next morning they're all brought into the precinct for interrogation. But here's where the movie gets bananas. Apparently, this place clones the criminals and has those clones be executed instead of the original person, who is then allowed to go free. Skarsgård, Goth, and a couple of other Westerners then go on to commit other acts against the law and have themselves cloned and let their clones get executed. What the hell is happening? I swear, this is the most pretentious movie of the year. It dives deeper and deeper into shock value that just when I finally thought it hits rock bottom, it finds a power drill and manages to go so much deeper. If there were any themes and messages it was trying to say to the audience, I have no idea what the hell it was. To me, it was a turkey. The acting is bizarre and not in a good way, especially from Goth. Even in her weirdest movies, she's never bad. But here, she's so cringe and uncomfortable. On the positive end, I am shown that she could indeed be a potentially great candidate to play Harley Quinn if Margot Robbie doesn't survive James Gunn's reboot of the DC film franchise. But as it stands, I don't know what this was. I don't care what this was. Don't bother writing out the true meaning of this movie, because I promise you, I will take active measures in making sure that I don't remember what you tell me. Good on you if you like this, but I'm not touching this ever again.
What are you doing in there, James? Huh? Where do you think you're going, you little baby?
Number 2. The Outlaws.
Am I funny yet, guys? Am I funny now because I can scrunch my face? Are you laughing? Are you laughing so hard right now? Because if you're not, oh, I'm going to be real sad and I'm going to make it real awkward for you.
You know, for all the bitching, moaning, and complaining that the superhero genre gets, I don't see anybody having the same fervent disdain for bottom-of-the-barrel comedies that we get year after year. What? How? Adam Devine is not funny. This entire experience was merciless. All it is Devine doing what he does in every movie. Being a fast talker, socially awkward, tripping over his words, laughing weird when he's uncomfortable, and scrunching his face to look like a loaf of bread. If you're rolling in the aisles, I have no idea what isn't funny to you. Multi-million-dollar contract now, Hollywood. Setting Devine aside, in all fairness, I don't think anyone could have saved this script. Even legitimately funny actors. Somehow, in 2023, the writers think that people confuse yoga instructors with being strippers. Even the performances from the rest of the cast is nothing special. Nina Dobrev is there. Switch her out with a nobody and it worked just as well. Pierce Brosnan is alright, if not phoning it in. Michael Rooker is hard to watch, which is sad because he's known for his comedy, thanks to the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. But in a Happy Madison production, nope. It sucked his talent dry like an evening with Riley Reid. There's just no positive that I can dish out for this thing. Here's what a foul-mouthed comedy has taught me. Take out the cursing. Take out the violence. Did it suddenly become suitable for children? If that's the case, then you didn't make an adult comedy. You just made a raunchy kids movie that parents would never show their kids, but is too immature to be enjoyed by the adults that you're kind of appealing to. So who is this made for? At heart, I'm a child, but I feel like the humor would only appeal to a toddler. I'm a mid-30s adult, but I don't relate to anything that this movie is doing on that level. So, it's a failure. You know, Happy Madison was doing so well too. What with the second murder mystery, which was actually pretty good, and Sonny Sandler's Bat Mitzvah movie, I guess I shouldn't be shocked, and perhaps there's even a level of comfort that Happy Madison isn't above doing schlock still.
With everything riding on this pasty little goober, we're so fucked.
And the number one worst movie of 2023 is...
Sorry if this sounds weird, but are you actively eating that candy bar? Maybe you could throw it to me. In the name of justice.
If you were to go into the past, any interaction you had with your parents or yourself, you have no idea what the consequences to that could be. I could fix things. You could also destroy everything.
Shut up. Shut up. You have no idea how lucky you are. You just walk around thinking that you're so funny and so cool. And it's embarrassing because you're not any of those things.
Happy?
Yeah.
The Flash. I'm gonna throw up. And I have no idea if it's because I horked down 8 shots in about an hour or because of this movie. But the real questions must be asked. Am I about to purge my stomach on camera? Stay tuned. Is this the worst superhero movie made in recent memory? Let's go through the list. Thor: Love and Thunder. It had a couple of things going for it. Christian Bale's opening, some of the action sequences weren't awful, and Gore's homeworld was actually kind of aesthetically pleasing. Morbius. At least that movie made the internet happy, what with the memes, and it got a second release in theaters, only to fail again. So the audacity alone makes that more respectable than this. Worse than Wonder Woman 89? Yeah, way worse than that. At least Gal Gadot is likable. For my taste, I've forgiven her for that song fiasco. And kicks ass as Wundy, despite the fact that the movie itself is ass. Batman v Superman? Yeah, worse. At least I like Henry Cavill as Superman, and Gal Gadot revealed as Wonder Woman was awesome. Worse than New Mutants? Yes. I thought New Mutants was okay. Had its moments, ain't good, but ain't the train wreck that I think we all kind of expected it to be. Ain't even comparing it to Hellboy 2019. I loved Hellboy. Yes, it is an absolute shit movie, but by God, it was so unapologetically violent that I freaking loved it anyway. So yes, Hellboy just does laps around the Flash. Ironic. Worse than Justice League Whedon cut. Yes. Yes, it is still worse. You know what? Whedon is a nutsack. But he had all of his controversy in one single expose of him being basically just a giant bucket of whale spunk. As opposed to Ezra Miller, who had a whole new thing almost every other week. The real question, is The Flash worse than Fant Four Stick? I say yes. You know what? Say what you want about that movie, and say what you want about the behind-the-scenes stuff. Josh Trank at least tried to warn us. He was not opposed to telling everyone on social media that this movie was going to be garbage. Oh, sure, there was some studio interference. Yeah, Josh Trank was also a dick with the budget and all that jazz, but at least we were forewarned. We saw the signs. We didn't even need the signs. Like, they were being thrown at us. The Flash, though, Ezra Miller. Controversial. Universally hated by the public. Warner Bros? Fuck them. Defended. Amber Heard refused to listen to the public to swap him out for fan favorite Grant Gustin. Even God Emperor Disney had the decency to fire Jonathan Majors for his controversies, and had the temerity to include cameos from better actors, from better superhero properties. This is way beyond trash. Before the stands that defend this trash heap and accuse me of hating it only for the piss poor CGI, let's get this out of the way. Yes, the CGI is bad. Not consistently bad, some are fine, but I have never judged the quality of a film based on its CG. The companies that help make these movies are constantly grinded into oblivion with minimal pay, the thinnest of time frames to work with, and next to no thanks. If I ever criticize CG, what I'm really doing is yelling at the studio heads to change their golden maxi pads at the nearest koala care station and shut the fuck up about their deadlines. Fork over the billions of dollars they have to let the animators finish their work in a reasonable amount of time to give them the best quality imaginable. So yes, the CGI is shit. I don't blame the animators for that. I blame Warner Brothers. Fuck you, Warner Brothers.
They probably got a good paycheck out of it.
Can't guarantee that because you're going overtime doesn't mean you'll get paid for it. That's just the state of the visual effects industry.
But let's be real here. If you like this movie, more power to you. Enjoy it. Don't let my opinion change your entertainment value. This is, as always, just my opinion. But I'm gonna speak it. So let's start with the man himself. Ezra's performance is beyond obnoxious. Never mind that I disagree with the constant mischaracterization of Barry Allen in general. Small tangent here. Barry from the comics is a much more serious and grounded character, if comic fans are right.
And my problem with the characterization of Barry Allen in this movie is along the same lines as the problem I have with the characterization of Barry Allen on the Flash TV show is. They don't want him to be Barry Allen. They want him to be Wally fucking West, who's the second Flash.
Yeah.
Who is a jokey, smart alecky character. And that's great. And if you want to have that character, that's great. Make it Wally fucking West.
The more comedic Flash that everyone is trying to emulate now is Wally West. If you know the Bruce Timm Justice League, that's Wally. When exactly Barry and Wally got personality swapped is entirely beyond me. Personally, I want to blame the Justice League cartoon, as Flash is a fan favorite because of his incredible humor in contrast to the more stoic likes of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Hawkgirl, and Jon Stewart Green Lantern. But it's never hidden that Flash was Wally.
I'm not sure I'm ready to... Wally West, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne. Show off.
Red hair. It suits you.
You think? Change, now.
Barry's name is never even whispered. Maybe the reason why Wally's personality is stapled onto Barry's is because Barry is the more recognized name associated with Flash, but Wally is the more recognized personality? I think literally the only form of media that got Barry right in recent memory was the Injustice video games. Yes, the immensely popular CW's Flash is guilty of this, making Barry the lighter character, but Grant Gustin is likable enough to power through the comic inaccuracies. Ezra is not. He is not charming and likable, as exemplified by his opening scene, where he wants a random bystander's food so he can have the proper energy to get his heroics underway. Funny enough, this is the perfect way to start this whole shindig. A selfish hero. Ezra was obnoxious alone, but as soon as he travels back in time to encounter his younger self, yes, a dual performance, who ends up being significantly more grating, what with his ear-shredding laugh.
Many times myself. You can't just start.
And sticks around for the entire duration of the movie. If that sounds like its own brand of torture, it absolutely was. But what about the universe traversal? That has to be cool, right? Sasha Calle as Supergirl, Michael Keaton reprising his role as Batman, Michael Shannon reprising General Zod? Come on, that has to be something. No, it's not. Let's compare this to Superman No Way Home. The appearance of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and their Supermen have a profound impact on Holland's Spider-Man. Aunt May was just murdered by Green Goblin. He had an existential crisis if his good nature was the overall right thing to do. He was beyond disheartened and wanted revenge. The other two Spider-Men were seasoned and understood his pain more than anyone. They served a narrative function for Holland Peter and were instrumental in making sure he didn't turn down a darker path.
I got bitter. I just don't want you to end up like me.
Now compare that to Flash. What function does Supergirl serve? What function does Batman serve? If you wanted to stretch it, maybe Supergirl represents Flash's protege. She's unhinged, has no idea what being a hero means, almost doesn't even want to be a hero. But Flash convinces her to be one. Not over the course of a long, meaningful character arc. He just tells her, be a hero. She says no. Then she sees Zod murder some people and says, fine, I'll be a hero. Riveting. What's so sad is that I can see Supergirl in Sasha Calle. To my understanding in the comics, she has a troubled relationship with humanity.
But the one thing that makes Supergirl such an amazing character in the comics, which is completely ignored in the show, it's her complicated relationship with humans. As a superhero, Supergirl experiences way more internal conflict than Superman. She understands that life is worth preserving, but at times she sort of doubts humanity deserves to be saved at all. There are even times of crisis where she tells people straight up that saving humans is not her priority. She'd rather just neutralize the threat.
Despite it not getting a whole lot of development, Sasha's performance seems to capture that quite well. Too bad her acting is wasted on this project that just has her CG fighting, yelling, and dying every 10 minutes. Yet another reason to hate this movie. We won't ever see Sasha really flex her muscles as Supergirl. Not that I think she would be given that opportunity, since a lot of DC projects haven't been great in recent years. As for Batman, I guess he represents the hero Flash is supposed to be. Selfless, willing to sacrifice, prepared to die for the greater good. Here's why none of this works. Flash already has two surrogate proteges. His younger self, who is also a hothead and has no idea how to be a proper hero, which the same was just said about Supergirl. How many mentor-apprentice relationships do we need? Also, Batman ain't much better in the way of being all that less selfish. We once again get the broken, miserable old man trope that God Emperor Disney has been known for. Though at least he's motivated to get back into action by a male character this time. And he doesn't even want to help Flash beyond a certain point. But of course, he changes his mind for reasons. And of course, he has to be killed off. Because how else should the curtains close on Keaton's Batman? What, was Batman Returns too cheery and hopeful? Nah, that's not how we treat legacy characters in 2023. Make them die brutally and without hope. For good measure, cancel the Batgirl movie that he was supposed to appear in. Warner Brothers, we know what we're doing, we swear.
You just walk around thinking that you're so cool, and it's embarrassing because you're not.
Why is Zod the villain? Why not use a villain from Flash's Rogues Gallery? They kind of recycled Savitar from the CW Flash, but he literally has 2 minutes of screen time, which means it was wildly unnecessary to include him at all. And the final insult, the CG recreation of the many other superheroes from DC's history. Adam West as Batman, George Reeves and Christopher Reeve as Superman, Helen Slater as Supergirl, Teddy Sears as Jay Garrick Flash, but the most egregious offender was the inclusion of Nicolas Cage's Superman. If y'all don't know the story, the abridged version is that Nick was supposed to star in a Superman film in the 90s, with Batman veteran director Tim Burton at the helm. Nick was in the suit and everything, but it was ultimately canceled. The reason why this cameo was totally gross to me is because it's a CG recreation of his character. It's not like Cage suited up and shot for the cameo. You want to know how I know that? Because he said this. Oh sure, he says he did go in to shoot some stuff for the flick, but what he shot and what was ultimately used in the final product are not the same. Wait, one Kryptonian fuck! Let me get this fucking straight. Nicolas Cage, who has been passionate about superhero movies, was devastated when his Superman movie was canceled. Even to this day, laments the loss over a quarter of a century later, got the chance to play the Big Blue Boy Scout one last time in his advanced age, went in, filmed some stuff, and the filmmakers had the fucking temerity to not only not use the genuine flesh and blood of the man himself, but to include his likeness in a 10-second CG sequence. He wasted his time. And I know it's not technically AI, but in an age where AI is an ever increasingly hot topic in the world of entertainment, a whole ass actor strike lasted for months about it. We're just digitally recreating his character to serve hollow fan service? And you're meaning to tell me that the most dignified version of Cage being Superman is Teen Titans Go to the Movies?
If you keep playing the fool, you'll never be seen as real heroes, only as jokes. Got him! Somebody save me.
Dude, fuck Warner Brothers. Of all the movies that I decided to sit through and watch all the way through, it was this one. It's so repulsive. I could have sat through Quantumania. I know it sucked. I know it sucked. But it wasn't this. I can't believe I didn't see the Marvels. It couldn't have sucked more than this. I can't believe I didn't sit through Shazam 2 or Aquaman 2. It couldn't have sucked more than this. Fuck Warner Brothers.
Hey. Be okay. Not this time, kid. Maybe some other time.
Thanks so much for joining me on my bottom 10 list, guys. Stay tuned for my top 10 list, and I hope that cheers me up. No, it absolutely will. But let me know what you thought your bottom 10 films of 2023 were. Dear God, I am so hammered right now. Have a great day. Stay safe and healthy out there. Hope to see you soon.